Hi, everyone. So, I am not going to try to find my microphone and get it adjusted because, sometimes you just get a moment of inspiration and you just need to go with it. So, I hit record on my phone and I'll clean up the sound as much as I can. Hopefully this is good. But I have something I feel is really important to say because last night I had a very interesting experience. Okay, so as you all know, the world is just bonkers right now. Do I even need to mention all the things that are going on? All the things that are coming to light? And for me, I dig quite a bit more deeply, but this time it was as if I was being pummeled. It's like they knew, the algorithm just knew, you want this, you want this, you want this, you want this. And it got to be very overwhelming. I used to have to dig really, really hard to find this information. I saw channel after channel get struck down. I saw how people had been killed for bringing this information to the light. And now instead, I'm being pummeled with it. And so I was just thinking here, why on earth was it so difficult for me to get this information and it's so easy now? And then it occurred to me, because if someone who is seeking the truth about things gets pummeled with all of the things that are not going right in our world and all the control that's trying to be, all of that they're trying to place onto us and manipulation and all of that, when you oversaturate someone, when you overstimulate someone, they can actually end up shutting down. They can break your psyche. This is something that if you look into MK Ultra, that was a real thing. That's not a conspiracy theory. Look that up. We have to realize and acknowledge that yes, so many things, so many extremely fucked up things are going on in our world and are trying to take root and grow. But I want you to also every day look for the good things too. You remember Fred Rogers? What did he always say? Look for the helpers. In fact, I recommend that you all look into his real life, okay? And watch some of his episodes. Really, really good man. But we need that's what we need to do, and we need to realize that we also are the helpers. It's okay. I'm sitting here crying too. I'm in pain. I have a child, and I'm worried about the world. And they are purposefully just battering us with all this information coming from every possible expression. All of our fears, all of our wonders, even right down to, are we going to be having contacts with are we going to be having contact with extraterrestrials, or are we not going to be having just everything, to wondering what's going on with AI. Melania, what do you mean that my child is going to be having this one-on-one with some AI that you called Plato? What do you mean by that? But there are really good things too. I know that, there's been, and again, these aren't conspiracy theories. Just look it up. This is really happening, from weather manipulation to the things that they're doing to our food, to billionaires like billion Gates, like Bill Gates buying up farmland. What the fuck are they doing? But let me tell you something I was told, and a Native American community, if I'm wrong, just correct me. But I was taught by my father that there was, and I don't know which tribe or if it was kind of, you know, widespread, but it was that we don't, I said it backwards. I'm thinking it backwards. The land does not belong to us. We belong to the land. That's what my father taught me, that Native Americans always held to their hearts. And I believe that. So they can try to buy everything and claim everything and say that they own everything. They don't own anything. And they don't own us. And we have to realize that, yes, they are trying to overtake our bodies, but they cannot overtake our souls. I do not believe a soul is a product that can be bought and sold. A soul is that spark, that divine unit of God that we all come from. It's a sparked source from God. You know, like when you have a big bonfire and you see little sparks fly out, except in this case, sparks never die. It's forever. It came from that. And eventually it will go back into whence it came. That's my belief. We need to look at the good. And what is the good? That everything we were and everything that we are and everything that we can be as human beings, it's not all lost. It's just been buried. And yes, some of us have been. I mean, who hasn't been altered? We you know, there's a hidden history throughout time where we've been altered so much, and we have always managed to triumph over it in our own way. But what I'm saying is, we lost a lot of the fine arts, but not entirely. There have been a few people, and when I say a few, it's not literally a few. I'm saying maybe a good 1% of people, and that's enough, because there's a lot of us. Maybe even more. People who are very, very resourceful and helpful, who can help us return to our roots. I'm not saying that we have to dump all technology. I'm saying we need to know how to be human again. I mean, just imagine any other animal that suddenly loses its ability to understand its own nature, or how to feed itself, how to connect as a community, or if they're a creature of autonomy, such as the reptiles who hatch and just they know what to do. It just depends on the innate programming, the innate divine programming within a being. And when I say a being, I don't just mean humans. How many of you even know how to keep a plant alive? How many of us know how to plant a seed and know how to grow, depending on which one and where, and how to keep soil? How many of us know how to sew? How many of us know how to forge metal, to even extract metal from minerals in the earth? How do we get things like salt? How do we even make the materials and the fibers that even make clothes? How do you protect yourself from parasites out in the wild? I mean, I could go on, and I could go on and on and on. We used to know these things, and some of these things a little bit we know. Some of you know how to sew. Do you know how to do it without a sewing machine? And that's no shame. I'm not saying we can't utilize certain technological things, but I feel like out of convenience sake, or that they've taught us this idea of convenience, they lured us with care away from our own natures and what we were taught. And that's part of the human nature, is we are a species that passes things down, not just through epigenetics, but through stories. And those stories also contain, there were directions to where we live, where to hunt, how to read, for those of us that had developed the reading and the writing, how to grow our food, where to grow our food, how to know what was poisonous, what wasn't, if something got contaminated, what kind of herbs, and whatever else, maybe certain barks in the forests, moss. What could we consume to heal, and what could we not consume that would kill us? How many of you can build a house from scratch? How many of us could walk into a forest right now and completely understand, from building to hunting, cooking, the type of cleaning, real cleaning, almost none of us anymore. But there are small groups of people who hold that wisdom. For example, we have, for example, the Amish community. We have Native American communities who have been reclaiming their roots. There have been people who have been flying all over the world, researchers, gathering the data and logging that information back in, because it is going to take the wisdom of the entire world's people, every single culture. We need to not fall for things like, what were they calling it a couple of years ago? Okay, I think it was acculturation. Listen, you're talking to a person who, I used to be a Hindu for years. I took over something called the Bollywood Indian Social Group, which is no longer running, but it was very big. I had thousands of members. And of course, people wondered, why is this white girl running a Bollywood Indian Social Group? When I wasn't practicing out of acculturation, I was, genuinely an Indophile. And I still love Indian culture. I'm not, I had claimed to be a Hindu because it was explained to me from a Hindu that it was a way of life and not so much a religion as a way of life. And so then at that time I felt, because I was so close to that and I was living with Indian families, I really, really absorbed so much of that culture. I ate, slept, and breathed this culture when I was out in California living in those communities. And it even got to the point where some of the Indians would joke and say, well, you know more about being an Indian than I do. They never saw it as an insult. But my point is, when a person's soul is driven to explore, even somebody that might be outside, or a culture that might be outside of their original, or even something that's within their own blood. And I do believe in past lives, by the way. So there's so many reasons why we can be attracted to maybe see it as a compliment rather than stealing, because there's a whole other history where actual stealing was involved. I believe that they want to keep us fighting when they're the ones that actually started the fire, so to speak. The controllers who are in almost every culture, and they're in every race pretty much that you can imagine, even different species. Okay, I'm just going to say it. And different dimensions, different timelines. It gets pretty wacky when you really think about the reality. And of course, most of you aren't even going to nod your head and think that I'm crazy, because what have we all been through? But my point is, these researchers are going out, they're getting the data, they're bringing it back, and we as a collective, we need to share, we need to restore what was lost. And we especially need to very much respect the elders that still, you have a grandmother that knows how to bake bread from scratch, and even more, do you know even how to get real bread that hasn't been altered? How it's very important, okay? It's very important to understand all of these things. And so we have elders, we have older books, we have cultures that are living outside of the dominant, like for instance, here in the United States, like I had mentioned, the Amish community. There are a lot of other people, other groups, other communities that we can reach out to. And while I'm not going to speak for those communities, I think they'd be more than happy to help restore true humanity. And I think they'll be more understanding than you realize when they have gotten us hooked on and addicted to this technology. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I love being able to talk to you on my phone. I love to be able to use everything, but I do not want to be used by it. I do not consent to being controlled or manipulated or having them install things into my body without my consent. And that is a real thing, you all, that's going on. Look all this up. There, you'll end up getting pummeled eventually. First, they may try to poo-poo on you and tell you this isn't real and it's a conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. And when they realize that you've broken through that threshold, they'll just throw everything they can at you. Make sure you limit how much you watch of it a day, okay? And look for all the good things in life too. When it gets to be too much, shut it off. Light a candle, a real one, if you have it. The most important candle is the flame within your heart, and talk to God, whatever you consider God to be. Even if you're sitting here and you're thinking, well, Kalina, I'm an atheist, then focus on community, focus on humanity and what you want to leave for the whole as a species. But for most of us, I believe, we believe in God, or we believe that there's some kind of divine intelligence or higher power or something. Whatever it is, whatever makes you comfortable, connect with that. And as I'm saying this, I want you to know that in my experience, this divine natural connection that they've had, these controllers have designed programs to make you fearful of this true divine source, to believe that you are not worthy of that connection and that you will just inherently fail and you'll even go to a bad place. So maybe don't even try to think about it. Maybe don't try to connect. Meanwhile, they tap into all your divine potentials. They hook you with empty promises. Go to this college, get that job, get that house, get that car, get that status. It's empty. get that plastic surgery. And there's nothing wrong if that's part of what you want to do, if you genuinely want to do that. But just remember, that's part of the program. That's why they try to set almost impossible standards for the average person, and the ones that do achieve. Do they look very happy to you? They look pretty exhausted to me. And then the ones that are on the highest top, they're really puppets. I can almost guarantee that almost any real, like the top controllers, that give the orders to the ones below them, we likely don't know their names. And if we do, that's very rare. We maybe know 2 or 3 names. That's what I'm feeling. Trying to get a little heat in here. So anyway, remember, there's still so much beauty in this world. And when you are out and about, when you look around, I want you to try. I want you to just find. You can use your senses, okay? I know most of us have been numbing. We've been numbing ourselves. I want you to look around and feel. Feel for one human being a day, whenever you're out. That's nice. That's decent. That's kind. It can be a child. It can be a little old lady. It can be some motorcycle guy, like just dripped in leather, and people are scared of them at first, and they turn out to be the gentlest bear, and you can tell. You just feel it. And send a blessing to them. It's okay if you don't feel like going up and talking. You don't have to. I get it. We're tired. But look at how likely they are to turn your way, and they might even smile. And that's another thing I think we've stopped doing. I was at Walgreens several months ago before my car broke down. And there's this lady that works there. And I was checking out in line, and Lily was with me, and I made some kind of a joke, and I was smiling, and I was asking her how her day was. And she was stunned. She's like, wow. She's like, no one ever talks to me. People are just in a rush. They're in, they're out. They don't make eye contact. Mind you, I'm autistic. I'm being told this. Because, there's this rumor about eye contact that isn't always true. We just have to be comfortable enough with you. And sometimes it's not about what you think it is. It's about concentration. But anyway, that's beside the point. She said, almost nobody talks to me, and no one cares, and no one smiles anymore. And ever since COVID, everybody's changed. Nobody's happy. Nobody cares about each other anymore. And I said, I care about you. And she said, I know. She said, I'm so grateful. She's like, I've been here for several hours, and you're the first person that said hello. You're the first person who made me feel like a human, rather than just some robot here to check out everybody's groceries and things. And she lights up every time I'm there, and I'm hardly ever there, but that's what I'm saying. I wasn't doing anything special. I wasn't doing anything special at all, you all. I was just saying hello, and I cracked a corny joke, and I had my beautiful daughter with me, who was being funny and silly, and I made a human connection with somebody because I'm grateful to her. You know, a lot of times I have to check myself out in a lot of places, and that's not easy to do sometimes with a special needs child who tries to elope. It's beautiful to be able to say thank you to a person. So we need to try to do it at least once a day if you can, even if it's just a smile or a nod or open the door for someone in the gas station, and don't give a shit about how they look, what they're wearing, what their race is, what their political ideologies are, what their religion is. Just feel the core and connect. And this is coming from me. I have, at the moment, pretty much a hermit life. I have only one friend here, and she'll disappear and reappear in my life. We just won't. I won't hear from her for a long time, and then she'll reappear, and then it's amazing and it's full of love. And then we're both neurodivergent, so I just figure, she may be going through a little burnout phase, or she's going through. We're all dealing with stuff, so I don't take it personally. I just cherish every moment when she's around, and that's that. And I think almost everybody probably understands what that's like now, because we are in a major transition, and no one, including myself, understands entirely what the fuck is going on. What is going on? Meanwhile, spiritually speaking, I do hear my guides, my angels, and God, if I dare say, tell me, have no fear and focus. Not, and when I say focus, I don't mean ostrich head in the sand. By focus, every day, bring yourself back to God, to source, to yourself. And of course, I don't know entirely what is that going to fix. And the deepest core answer that I hear, God, tell me. I feel this smile. And it's the words, you'll see. You'll see. You'll see. But the more of us that do it, the better it'll be. So I hope this makes sense in the way that I'm putting it, but I just wanted to share that because the reason they're pummeling and they are being so aggressive right now is because they are terrified of something so extraordinarily beautiful that is meant to and will happen. And whatever they are doing to us as a species, we can heal it. But it is going to be a deeply divine and spiritual experience. This I know. And we need to spend the majority of our days connecting with God, Source, Universe. It's your personal connection with the all that is, What you think, Sarah, do about it, that's none of my business. But I love you and I support you in whatever it is, so long as you're not out there hurting other people. Especially in the name of whatever it is that you believe. All right, I think I made a good enough point, and I think I've addressed the core of what I wanted to talk about. And please feel free to share in the comments. If you want to voice something about it, please make a video. Share your voice. Share your voice far and wide while you can right now. And I'm not saying that we'll lose that, but we don't know. I think we're going to become increasingly more telepathic. It's an inner technology, but that's not to say we won't use outer technology too. The Arcturians use both, for example. For any of you familiar with Arcturians, of course there's different races of Arcturians too. By races, we would be considered species. Oh, that is a delicious cup of coffee. You see that? Every little detail of every little thing that is good, you all please even write it down. I think I'm going to get a journal, and every moment of joy, and just read it every night before the end of bed, before you go to bed, and thank God for that. I'm serious. And I'm not even talking about the gratitude rampage. I'm talking about actual observational gratitude. Observational gratitude. Genuine appreciation. Because it's going to help you feel a lot lighter. And those things add up so that whenever you get into a state of consciousness or a moment where you feel like you cannot live another fucking moment on this planet, you pick up that journal and you read through it. And then you look around you and you find even just one thing that you can be happy about. The soft blanket around me, or those cute shoes in the corner, or that memory where Mom and I went to the theater and laughed like crazy over this movie. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything. A meme on Facebook that you laughed at. Anything. Because we need you. We need you. And we love you. We all love each other. So break down the walls, please. Because we need each other. More than ever right now. God bless you all. I love you. Please allow yourself to have a beautiful day and night.